Whoosh, boop, boop. Hey guys, I hope you liked my cheesy sound effects. I know I did. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Stephanie. Today I'm going to be drawing a cabinet of curiosities. And if you don't know what those are, I'm not sure where they originated from, but they're just like little cabinets with small shelves and interesting items. I'm not sure what the criteria of a curiosity is, but anyways, let's get into it. So I'm inking with a Pigma brush, Sakura Pigma, and the purpose of this drawing was for me to get more comfortable with a brush pen and with doing an ink wash. And I do the ink wash with Yasutomo brand Sumi ink. And I'm not sure what the difference between Sumi ink and India ink is. So I'll have to look that up later. So right now I'm just drawing the shelves. It was really hard to get a consistent straight line with the brush pen. So that's one thing I wanted to practice with. This video is going to be a little bit rambly just because I didn't really have a script planned or anything, but whoop! If you don't want to hear me talking, just put it on mute and play your own music. Otherwise, listen to me talk about random stuff about this drawing. Yeah, do 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 do. I don't really know what the theme of the whole cabinet is. Like, I have a few magical themed objects. Right now I'm drawing a phoenix feather that was inspired by a peacock feather, but I wanted it to be kind of glowing and magical looking, and a little bit more swirly. And I've got a lot of peacock stuff about my house right now because I'm getting married in a month, and our color theme and decoration theme is peacock. So that's why peacock feathers are on my mind. I actually really like the brush pen for organic flowy lines. The straight lines were a challenge, but drawing pretty much everything else that had a more curvy organic look was really fun with the brush pen. And I think this piece did help me get a better feel for brush pens. I know the Pigma brush isn't the best quality brush pen around. In fact, at the end of this drawing, I could tell the tip of this pen was fraying already. And I think it is a felt tip. So, I'm probably going to invest in a better quality brush pen for Inktober, which I was also thinking about when I was doing this piece. It's August, but I'm thinking about Inktober already. Oh my god. I am going to be participating in Inktober this year, to get better with inks and to help develop the positive drawing habits. So, drawing every day for about an hour, I'd say. That's something that I want to get better at. And it's going to help me get better at uploading to YouTube. So there's that too. At first, I was thinking, oh yeah, maybe I'll upload every Inktober drawing every day. And then while I was uploading this piece, my upload speeds are so slow. It literally took the whole day just to get the videos off my phone onto my Dropbox to my computer. So I don't think I'm going to be uploading my Inktober drawings every day, but I'll probably try to do it every other day or every third day. And if I get behind, maybe I'll do a couple extra videos on weekends when I have more time. So that's my goal for Inktober this year. And I know it's a couple months off, but if you guys have any suggestions of what you want to see me draw for Inktober, leave it in the comments below. I'd love to know what you guys um, want me to draw. All right, so some of the items that I have in this drawing are so far the phoenix feather, the magical wand, bobcat skull. I just wanted a skull in there somewhere. And bobcat skulls look really cool and they're pretty small, so I thought it would probably fit in a. I actually don't know the exact measurements and everything. Is just a kind of guess of how big they are relative to this cabinet. So it might not be 100% correct in size, but it still looks really cool in the end. So that's all that matters, really. And then this one is a little moth pinned up on a board. It's dead already, so don't worry about that. I always loved those bug displays in museums and stuff, especially if they had like an iridescent sheen to them. The moth is really fun to do with the brush pen too, because all the little tiny fuzzy hairs, or I don't know, are they hairs? They're fuzziness. Excuse me. And I had a little bit of trouble in the beginning of this drawing when I was actually doing the pencil lines because I wasn't sure. Oh my god. Like, perspective and stuff is not my forte, so how the cabinets are going back into space, I'm not sure if that's exactly correct. So I BS'd it pretty much, but again, if it looks cool, that's all that matters, I think, in my opinion. Yeah. And then I do struggle a little bit with the shadows of the shelves later on, but I tried to make a best guess about that. So I did a little mini pumpkin, which kind of looked weird at the end because if you're not thinking that it's a mini pumpkin, then everything else looks like it's massive, I guess. But there are mini pumpkins out there and like little mini squashes, and they're just so cute. And I was thinking about October and Halloween and just wanted to add a little bit of fall theme in there without being too like overtly obvious. I guess a pumpkin's pretty obvious for fall, but hey, that's okay. Honestly, I don't really know why I chose these specific items. I was just like, I drew the squares to the cabinet first, the rectangles of the shelves, and then I had a couple of the items in mind that I wanted to do, like the wand and the skull and the plant. And then I just kind of fit in objects that I thought would fit those spaces well, and that I thought would be would look cool and fit a kind of cabinet of curiosities theme. I don't know, I think mostly in the traditional ones you see like a lot of skulls and shells and jars with like weirdly misshapen like fetus animals and stuff in them. I don't know. I have a jar of a mysterious black liquid, but there's no dead animal besides like the bug and the skull, so don't have to worry about that. I added the scissors and the thread. I don't know why. I thought they just looked good right there. And then I do a shell, just because a lot of the examples I was looking at for reference had a lot of shells in them. And for all the items I did look at references for, except for like the ring at the bottom and yeah, pretty much I looked at references for all of them, but then I tried to put my own twist on all of them so it didn't look like I'm like overtly copying. Because that's not cool, guys. And the references I looked at were all photos. I think I just used Google Images. Doop-a-doo. And this jar of marbles also looks a little bit small for how big all the other items are. So I don't know if there are mini marbles, but some of the smaller ones would be super, super tiny compared to like the spool of thread and stuff. So it still looks cool. That's okay. Oh God. You know how you listen to yourself and you hate your own voice? That's me right now. But I'm going to continue. Again, if you don't care what I'm talking about, just mute me and listen to your own stuff. Oh yeah, the floating crystal I had the idea for. I think that was one of the first items I actually sketched out because I wanted it to be kind of, I wanted to have some kind of unnatural item in the cabinet that you wouldn't see in the real world, and have a more magical quality to it. So I added the floating crystal. And I actually, at the end of my drafting stage, I added a crystal tip to the wand, which I didn't originally have. So I thought maybe that crystal tip came from the floating crystal, one of the shards that broke off, and they're somehow correlated together. And I had a lot of fun with this little plant. I did look at some references. I like looked up spiky plant because I knew I wanted to do little spiky bristles with the brush pen. And then I thought, okay, how cool would it be if the plant was in an inkwell? So that's what it's sitting in. And it looks more like an inkwell once I color the black in. Whee! The little spikiness is so fun to do. And there are plants similar to these ones in real life. I love the little curly bits that are coming off the top. I saw some reference photos of those in real life. I'm like, what is that? It's so cool. So now I'm filling in the inky part. And then I made the bottom part of the plant more dark to look like it's kind of soaking up the ink, maybe. At least that was my intent, but then the whole thing was pretty dark at the end after the ink wash, so I don't know how well that reads. And I'll do a couple teeny tiny objects at the bottom. And at this point, I should have taken a break because I was getting a little bit impatient and rushing the end a little bit. And you can tell with the last couple items that the lines are really thick and I was rushing through them. They don't have that nice small line quality that I like with brush pens. Especially with the last two items, they're messy. So yeah, that's some advice for me. If you're feeling like you want to get a piece done and you're rushing through it, just stop, take a break, and then go back to it. Because if you're feeling rushed, it's not going to look as good as you want it to. Like, just blah, look at those. The last one is supposed to be an obsidian arrowhead. Ugh, I didn't like them. Anyways, into the ink wash process. I did have like a little palette with my ink wash in it, because it's always a good idea to have like what's the word? Oh my god, I'm sorry. I have brain farts all the time. It's good to have a lot of the same color, I guess, the same tone if you're doing a large area, so you don't have to mix it again, especially with ink wash, because ink wash always dries a lot lighter than when you put it down at first. So if you see how dark this is right now while it's wet, and then it dries a lot lighter. So it's always good to have a lot of the same wash starting out. That's another good advice tip for you guys. Not that I'm an expert with ink or anything, not by far, but I am hoping to get better, especially in October. And you can see really how dark that bottom one is with the ring compared to the one with the shell. That's the same wash, just wet compared to dry. And this is where I kind of guessed what the shadows might look like with the shelves. I should have done some more research, but I think it looks cool anyway. And I did have to cut out a lot of this video just because it would have been, I think it was 38 minutes long originally. And that would not have been a fun sit through. So I shortened it to 18 minutes. And I hope that's more bearable for you guys. Leave a comment below if you think 18 minutes is still too long and I can try shortening up my future videos. And that is another thing I'm kind of worried about with my Inktober pieces. They're not going to be this detailed, but I'm worried that if the videos are too long, then the upload speeds are going to be slow. So here's a detailed shot. I added a little bit more dark in some places, and then I added some white highlights with my white gel pen. And I think it turned out awesome. And you guys can see the full view image here and on my DeviantArt page, fallingfreely.deviantart.com. Thanks for watching, guys. Boop!